actually specifically comes from the left ventricle, which is the part of the heart that pumps the blood, keeps you alive, and it's type AB blood. They saw white blood cells, which should have disappeared a bazillion, ages ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so then the next step they did is they compared the two samples, 8th century, 20th century. It comes from the same person, and it comes from the same human heart, scientifically proven. What do you do with that? So you have a third of Catholics who actually do believe that is the real presence. The other two-thirds don't know, aren't sure, don't care, I don't know. But I would think if you said that inside a church maybe once a year, if you actually brought out that data, what science says, and this is science, these labs had no connection with these churches. It was just a lab that was asked, what is this? Different labs, different reports, and it still comes up saying the same thing. So once again, the flare gun going off of, hey, in case, I know a lot of you are doubting right now, so let's just throw this at you and see how you react to this. What do you do with that? What do you do with that?
It's really hard to debunk it. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there trying to debunk it, but I mean...
They would love to.
Yeah. I mean, but it's hard to do. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Now, but on the opposite side of the coin, I'm going to flip this on you. Demons.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in...
They're real. They're very real.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very real.
Yeah. I mean, I've known people. I've had people on my show or guests. I actually known people that, for example, there was a particular psychic. It was on my show that I know very well. That she, after going and trying to cleanse a house to get rid of, the demons, that a demon followed her back home, and she all of a sudden started having like scratches running down her legs and arms. And, her, at first her boyfriend thought she was doing it herself, till he saw it was happening right in front of his own eyes. So, I mean, I really strongly believe that for the good side, there is a bad side.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Jesus said that is the ruler of this world. I think this the most unquoted line out of the Bible is Jesus on multiple occasions saying, he didn't say his Father was the ruler of the world. He didn't say he was the ruler of the world. He says the devil is the ruler of the world, but you are not of this world, and I am not of this world. Meaning, we're just visiting. But the ruler of this world is the devil and the fallen angels. And once you understand that, everything else makes sense. All those times you want to blame God for when something horrible happens, it's not him. It's the ruler of the world. He's the lousy landlord with, it's why the pipes are bursting and the toilets don't flush and the paint is falling off in this world, and why there's war and famine and disease, and why somebody flipped you off on the road, and why it's why you snapped back at your spouse. It's like, why did I just do that? There is such a heavy influence in this world from the ruler of the world. But when we turn back towards, as you did, Gary, you're the role model in this, as you did, you turned away from this world and everything that wants to drag you down and complain and moan and think only about yourself. You turned away from that. You turned towards love, and you turned towards healing. You turned towards forgiveness. And when you did that, you got healthier. You began to like life a lot more. And that's what God is asking us to do, to turn away from this world and turn back towards him, where life is. It's where beauty exists. In this world, which can be so miserable and so difficult and so challenging on a daily basis, you found love. And that mutes that evil that is in this world.
Well, it's really, when I feel depressed, or if I feel like my life is going down the tubes, you know what I do? I live, we got like a little mini farm. We got a couple mini horses. We got a couple mini goats. I got 2 acres of cedar trees. I'll go out and sit, in my yard and look at the trees. I look at the sky, or I'll look at the stars. And all of a sudden I feel clean, if that makes any sense to you. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel good again, I realize that there's more than just we could ever comprehend. So much more.
There's a battle. You know what I compare it to? I compare it to like we're all on this chessboard. We're on this chessboard, and we're all the chess pieces, and we have no idea who's playing the game. There's a game going on, and there's the good guys and the bad guys, and they're trying to influence us and move the pieces from over here to over here, and this side's fighting that side. The influences we feel on a daily basis. And again, going back to those people who have near-death experiences who do not want to come back, it's because they no longer, in that moment, feel what we've gotten used to. We just take it as day to day that you feel like you do, and you're up and you're down and you're sideways and you doubt yourself and you think you're a piece of crap one day and you're okay the next day, and you get selfish one day and the next day you go, why am I? And you just have these constant battles going on. These people who have near-death experiences are showing us that when we're away from that, that's what it's supposed to feel like. That's why they don't want to come back. So, yeah, I just feel like we're all on a chessboard being moved around or influenced in all kinds of ways.
I think
we keep remembering.
I think we're being tested. That's what we're doing. Every minute of your life, you're being tested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even when we fail, it's okay. We do what you did. You had that moment of examination of conscience where you go, well, I didn't pass that test very well. I did okay there, not so well over there. You know, it's a daily test. It absolutely is, moment by moment. You're absolutely right.
Oh yeah. So how did you with your vision problem? How did you accept it? What did you feel when you realized you were starting to have a vision problem? Did you feel like, why me? Did you? Okay. Well, let's explain to the listeners. How did you feel?
I never went to why me. In my particular case, 1 in 80 of us carries this recessive gene, and when 1 in 80 marries 1 in 80, and they have children of this, then the odds in this particular kind of retinitis pigmentosa, the odds are 1 in 4 that your kids will get this. In our case, there were 7 kids. 3 of us got it. My older sister's totally blind. I have a younger sister who is also legally blind like me, sees better than I do. Okay, so I was the first to show the symptoms. So when I was 13, I got night blindness and tunnel vision. All the peripheral went away. Now, I was so insecure, and just so much self-doubt, I guess. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. I told nobody. I just faked it. I faked it the best I could until I was like 18, 19, and I was trying to get a job, and for some reason I had to get a physical, and I said, I think I have cataracts, and they said, well, let's send you to a doctor. So this ophthalmologist, this woman, I still remember her name was Helen. She looks into my eyes and she goes, do you have trouble seeing things from the side? And I go, yeah. How do you know that? Do you have trouble seeing in the dark? And I go, yeah. Are you psychic? How are you doing this? And she said, no, it's in your eyes. You have something called retinitis pigmentosa. At that point, I did tell my parents. And my dad was funny. He says, oh, thank God. Because one time he was lying on the floor in the living room, and I came walking in, didn't see him, and stepped on his head. He said, I thought you just didn't like me. And I said, nope, just couldn't see you. So, but I went through a big chunk of my life where I tried to hide it from people because I thought, well, they won't like me because there's something wrong with me. Silly. And you know this, when people find out there's something wrong with you, there's usually empathy. There's usually, how can I help you? But I just had such insecurity, I just didn't tell anybody. And now, ironically, I have a podcast that was called Blind-Faith Live, and everything is I highlight it, in a sense, for a number of reasons. One, because I believe there will be a miracle down the road. But it's like, it's so freeing. When you tell people, yeah, I have bone cancer, it's kind of freeing, isn't it? It just kind of shakes it off of you.
Well, it doesn't bother me. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. For me, I hated the idea of even having a white cane. It's like, no, I don't want to be visible about it. Now it's like, I'm glad there's a white cane. It's a beacon that says, hey, I'm not I'm really not drunk. I just couldn't see you. That's why I ran into you, that kind of thing. So, so there's no why me to it. There's no why me at all. No.
Coincidental. Back in the mid '80s, I used to ride a bicycle a lot. And one day I was out riding a bicycle, and all of a sudden, like if you take a TV, and you, like the old TVs with the tuner on it, and you tune it in between channels, how everything was jagged and all that stuff. I was out riding, and all of a sudden I looked at everything, and everything kind of looked, like real jagged, like a, how can you put it? Maybe like a digital image, the mapping of it, the JPEG or whatever. It was really bizarre. I virtually lost my vision. And I mean, I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't really see anything. It was really weird. So, my wife...
Scary, too. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, so my wife took me to the hospital, and they said I had optic neuritis, which I didn't know what that was. And they said, well, you need to go see an eye specialist. And I went to an eye specialist. And they, they put me on heavy steroids, which was the number one. Hey, they didn't have a cure for it, at least back then. But, like within a couple months, I got my vision back. But it was, even when I got it back for a while, the doctor said, you know what? If a baseball comes straight at you, you're not going to see it. If a car comes straight at you, you're not going to see it. I had I looked and I could see stuff. Your brain puts it all together. But I had a big dead spot. But slowly it came back. So thank God I got my vision back. So, I understand what you're going through in one aspect. I mean, But
did they pretty much tell you that you would, because most people get optic neuritis. It isn't reversed. So
no, and a lot of people don't even know what that is. It's basically you get an infection on the back of your eyeball, and it disforms your eye in the back, the retina and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know someone who, going back to the Dr. Namey stuff, she had MS, and now she doesn't have MS, and she had optic neuritis as part of it, and now she doesn't. So it was one of our cool miracle stories, too. Yeah.
But you know what?
But,
I'm not, put it this way, I do have somewhat night blindness. That part has stayed. But I mean, as long as there's light, during the day, I see fine.
But everyone has stuff. Here's the bottom line. As we go through life, there's no way of getting out of this world unscathed. Everyone gets stuff. Whether it's vision stuff or cancer stuff or children stuff or whatever.
I disagree with you. And
really, you know someone who's getting through on
okay.
No problem?
Now I'm going to go back now to like around 1999 when I was managing a couple of the professional camera stores. One of our sales reps, okay, Bob would come in, and he would call on us like twice a month, trying to sell us, equipment. He came in there one day and he goes, hey, I just bought a new Harley. Hey, Harley, you get it? And he was 80, I think 85, 86 at that point. And okay, I went out and looked at it. The guy was like 6'3". He still snowed skied. He had like a half-acre garden. He worked during the summer in it a lot. He made all his calls in the summertime on his motorcycle. And the last time I saw him, he was still working when he was close to 90. Still riding a motorcycle. Still going out, believe it or not, you can call me a liar. He would still go out, maybe not, ski like he used to, but he would still go out and ski. This is somebody almost 90 years old. And I sat there and we talked. I asked him, I said, have you ever had anything wrong with you? And he goes, I never been sick a day in my life. And I looked at that and I've known two people in my life, but I mean, I got to know him for like 13, 14 years. And it astounded me, somebody at that age. I mean, and then there was another person I got to know when I used to ride a bike. He was 90-something. He would cream me on a road bike. I would go riding with him. We'd go on a 20-mile ride. At close to the 20 miles, I was ready to die. I couldn't even keep up with him. I mean, he was sharp as a tack. There is certain genetics out there that I think people, very few, but they can go through their whole life and not have what me and you and your neighbor come down with.
Yeah, but it could be something else. You don't know what he's lost along the way. There could be some other things. There could be some mental things. I mean, you're talking about some physical things that are very cool, but I think most of our battles are inward, don't you? Most of the challenges are self-imposed and